Part of me during the first several days was thinking, like, I don't know if this was really worth going through.
Hey guys, Chad Behringer here with the Dating in Asia show, and today I'm going to talk about what it was like for me to go through the process of getting a visa and jumping through a bunch of hoops to get that, and then traveling here during the pandemic and going through the 14-day quarantine that I had to go through in the hotel here in Bangkok before I could be free to be out and about. You'll have to decide whether all of those hoops and hassle and cost is worth it to you to go through, or do you want to just wait until things are better and more people have been vaccinated and countries like Thailand lift their travel restrictions. For me, it wasn't too bad getting the visa. I found the Thai consulate website in Los Angeles. I followed the instructions, not for the special tourist visa, which I had heard about. Those are really complicated, convoluted, expensive, and it takes a lot of time, and you just have to jump through a ton of hoops. Now that'll get you a longer visa, but if you can find your way, just Google single entry tourist visa. And if you find that part of the Thai consulate website in Los Angeles, or I think there's a consulate website for New York too. Anyway, if you find that part, the single entry visa, that is a 60-day visa, and you can extend for another 30 days. And I've even heard people here on the ground say that they've extended longer than that. And that's plenty enough for me, and that's the easiest way, at least that I've found, to get into Thailand right now during COVID. So it's March 2021, and I followed those instructions, and at the end you end up mailing a bunch of documents over to the consulate there in Los Angeles, and then they send back your passport with the single entry tourist visa in your passport. So once I had that, and you have to actually book the hotel, you have to book your 14-day quarantine hotel, and you have to book your flights to and from Thailand before you even apply for the visa. That's part of the application process. They want to see that you've already booked everything, so make sure and book it as a refundable ticket and refundable hotel, so you don't lose a lot of money if you get denied for some reason. I doubt you will. It's only if you have a bad background, something criminal, or if you have been if you've ever overstayed a visa in Thailand or something like that. Most people just get approval to come and travel here right now as tourists. Anyway, once I had that visa, then a few days later I did the fit to fly medical exam, and I did my COVID test. Both of those have to be done 72 hours prior to your flight, and just make sure that you can get a good printout of everything that is required and bring it all to the airport with you. My flight was pretty easy because I was lucky. I had a lot of miles saved up, so I was able to fly business class, sleeping all the way with pajamas and slippers, and pretty good treatment there on Japan Air that I flew. And then upon arrival in the airport in Bangkok, it was like a scene out of the movie Outbreak or something, where everybody in the airport was in full PPE gear. They look like they're dealing with a full plane load of people that had just come walking out of the bubonic plague or something like that. It was pretty crazy the way they were dressed, the way they were treating us, just to take our temperature and check our documents. And then you'll see here in this video what it's like to really be stuck in quarantine for 14 days, and you get little breaks, but it's kind of rough. But again, I think it's going to be worth it. So this is the guy that is helping me get in the van. See all these guys wearing all their PPE, wandering around the airport. They come from the hotels to pick people up, and now I'm in this like zipped off tented enclosure here. This is crazy in Bangkok. Welcome to Bangkok.
A lot of you have been wondering what it's like going through a 14-day required quarantine in a hotel room, being stuck in another country before you can actually get out and go travel around and do some dating there. During the first 6 days, I couldn't go anywhere. Just on the balcony was the only way to get a little bit of sun, a little bit of fresh air. And then after that, they gave me my first COVID test. You can tell my voice is a little bit hoarse right now because I was a little bit hyper on my little 40-minute walk that I get to take in the garden today because it's my last day, and so I was singing at the top of my lungs to songs that I like because I had the whole thing to myself. It's been a few years since I've been to Bangkok, so I had actually forgotten that one of the best dating sites in Thailand in general is right here. It's Thai friendly. And you can see I've got, I don't know how many it is, 20 or so, 25 unread emails in my inbox from women here in Thailand, in Bangkok mostly. So that's a fantastic site. I'm actually going to do another video where I'm going to do a full breakdown of the best dating apps and sites to use for dating here in Thailand or in Asia in general. But anyway, yeah, the food's been good. You can see this is my menu they gave me on the first day. Basically, for every meal, I had a choice between 4 different options, like a vegetarian option, an American option, a Vietnamese option, and I don't know what the other one was, just kind of a mix, international foods. And for the most part, I stuck with the Thai menu. It was good food, and it's healthy, and the food's been decent here. But I'm dying to get out. I'm ready to get out. It was in this 14-day quarantine that I finally decided to kick off this YouTube channel for the Dating in Asia show, which I plan to make into a podcast as well, a video podcast. And I just think there's a ton of potential. I know there's a ton of interest in the 90-day fiancé concept, in dating in Asia in general. And yeah, there's a ton of YouTube videos out there with single guys that will take a video camera along some walking street in Pattaya or down to Soy Cowboy here in Bangkok or something like that, and they'll show the seediest red light districts in Thailand or whatever. I've seen those videos for Phuket as well. And, you know, that's not really my thing. I was Mormon, as some of you know, for 47 and a half years. I was very religious, very LDS, very Mormon, and followed it really strictly. So I've been out of the Mormon church now and not believing it, not following it for about 3.5 years now. But still, that red light district, not interesting to me. I'm here to meet nice girls, regular girls, to go on regular dates. And ideally, I'd like to find somebody for something long term. I mean, it's tricky because I still have a business and I have kids back home that I'm, with quite a bit of the time. So I have to juggle all of those responsibilities and go back and forth. So I really don't know how that's going to play out if I do meet somebody, but in the past 4 years, I've dated quite a bit here in Asia. And whenever I meet somebody that has substance and not just surface things that we're all attracted to in the beginning, I make sure to spend as much time here getting to know her as I can. So who knows how that'll play out. Part of me during the first several days was thinking, like, I don't know if this was really worth going through. It's rough. It's really rough. But it's been over a year since I've been able to travel anywhere outside of the United States. And that's a long time for me. These last 4 or 5 years, I've spent quite a bit of time here dating in Asia. And I love it. I love the adventures I have here, the people that I've met. I love working remotely and being in a warm place and meeting beautiful women that are kind and sweet, and having the dating marketplace work for me the way that it does here. So I'm glad to be back, and I assume that after a day or two out, I'll say, hey, it was all worth it. I would go through it again in a heartbeat. But I do think that here in Thailand, I don't think it'll be too long before they open it back up to travel without having to sit in quarantine for 14 days. Thailand heavily relies on its tourism. And I think the last report that I saw said something like 1/10 of the tourism numbers are coming in these days compared to what they would usually expect on an average day or week. So they can't operate like that for much longer. I know it's been really, really harmful to their economy because so much of their economy is based on the tourism that comes here. So Bangkok, not as much, but certainly a lot of cities like Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Phuket, Krabi, and other touristy cities like that. Just getting outside and moving around, breathing some fresh air and feeling the sun on my skin makes a big difference. So anyway, just wanted to check in. It's kind of cool that I get out of quarantine on a Friday. That means, it'll be just perfect timing for the weekend for me to celebrate getting out of quarantine and being able to cut loose a little bit. And I'm not only celebrating ending the 14-day quarantine here in Bangkok, but I'm also celebrating getting done with a year of freaking lockdowns in the United States. Not being able to visit friends and family and being with them like you would like to, not being able to travel around the United States like you normally would. It's just been tough. It's been a tough year. So all of that pent-up frustration from the lockdown for a year and from 14 days locked in a tiny little hotel room here in Bangkok is going to just bubble over and cut loose on Friday night when I get out of quarantine. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can get some good footage for you guys, and you can kind of celebrate with me, come along for the ride. All right, it is time to say goodbye to my quarantine jail, my little 14-day jail cell here. I'm all done. I'm free, finally, free in Bangkok, and let's go on some adventure. All right, guys, so I made it out of the traffic. I checked into my other hotel, and I've already had a few days of adventures and some nice dates already. I'll tell you about those in another video, but if you like this video, please give it a like below, and I want to hear your comments. Would you go through the 14-day quarantine, or are you going to wait it out until you don't have to do that to get here to Thailand or travel to other countries? Anyway, thanks for watching, and this is the Dating in Asia show. I'm Chad Berenger.